So in terms of new vehicles, it's hard to think of another vehicle that's come so far in such a short space of time as the Ford Everest. Launched in 2010, the first generation Everest was quite a boxy, ungainly car. It was based on the Mazda BT of the time. The second generation was all Ford and did a lot for the brand, sold in impressive numbers and really took the fight to the Toyota Fortuner. Then the third generation Everest launched, and Ford made the bold decision of launching Everest with this, the Platinum Edition. It came with a R1,000,000 price tag and quite a lofty claim that it was no longer a Fortuner rival, but in fact a Toyota Prado rival. That's a big claim because the Prado is that much more substantial, that much more overland than a Fortuner. We've spent 6 months with the Everest Platinum to find out whether it can match its hype. So the Everest range has now expanded to include 6 models, including an entry-level XLT, but you won't miss the Platinum Edition on the road. Obviously you've got a fair amount of chrome detailing, platinum on the bonnet, 21-inch alloy wheels, which I will admit we have had repaired once. We'll talk to the fact that it's quite a big car. South African roads are a little bit tighter than the Everest would like. So some chrome detailing on the step-up bar and on the roof rails compared with the Wildtrak, which remains plastic. So it's a really good looking car. And then on the road, Ford's latest C-styled LED driving lamps, so you can see them a mile off. So the nice to have features don't stop at the exterior. Inside you get lovely Napa leather seats. They're heated and cooled in the front, and the kids love the fact that they're heated at the back too, which is quite bragging rights for the school playground. Ford's latest infotainment system, probably one of the best in its segment. Lovely and big, easy to operate, and then you get digital instrumentation too, which is all very nice. What I like is another separate cubby hole up here, and it's got wireless charging, and all the storage bins have a grippy plastic on them, which is also nice to have. A lot of the times you get storage bins, but they don't have that grip, so things roll around while you're driving. So again, it comes at a premium price tag, but there's not a lot missing out of Everest Platinum. Another feature that my son especially enjoyed was the fact that the third row of seats is electronically operated, and then he regularly segregated himself away from his sister and her annoying friends. He sat here in the third row seat and he loved it. He had a little USB charger for his phone and even a dedicated cup holder. So available on most Fords sold in South Africa at the moment. You can link your vehicle to a Ford Pass app. It's a pretty handy tool, so apart from anything you can see your current fuel range. You can book your car in for a service, which we did with the Everest, and it'll send you notifications. So for example, on the 14th of November, we took this vehicle into the dunes and it detected a tire pressure monitoring system warning. We obviously deflated the tires for the dunes, so it sent a warning to the app to say, listen, we think your tire pressures are low, which we knew about at the time, but it's quite handy if you didn't know about it. So I used the Ford Pass app on 2 occasions during my time with the Everest. One to book it in for a scheduled service at Calford's Ford in Somerset West, which was a really positive experience. And another time the vehicle had to unfortunately go back. One of the seals around the tail lamp had perished and it let water into the tailgate. So I realized when there was water sloshing around in the back, which I thought was the AdBlue, when I'll come to that, but in fact it was a fair amount of water that had got into the tailgate. That was a 2-day repair, and we haven't had any problems since. On the subject of AdBlue, I learned something new over the past 6 months. Because this vehicle is imported, it has emissions regulations that it has to comply to, and this vehicle requires AdBlue. So alongside the diesel fuel tank is a separate 20-litre AdBlue tank, and obviously as you drive, the AdBlue mixes with the diesel and with the aim of lowering emissions. What I didn't realize was this is a consumable, and via the Ford Pass app again and on the instrumentation you get a warning to say you need to top up AdBlue. That's about 800 Rand that you have to purchase from a dealership or a Midas, and you top it up yourself just to keep things running smoothly. The car will warn you that it'll stop operating if you don't maintain the level of AdBlue. So imposing exterior styling and impressive standard specification aside, one of the big appeals of Everest Platinum is that it's fitted with Ford's 3-litre V6 TDI motor, which offers 600 Newton meters of torque. Now with that kind of performance, we towed on a few occasions and it was effortless, but also on the open road, the car settles nicely, but it's also overtaking is a breeze. It's mated with 4 auto drivetrain, so you've got 2 high, low range, and then an auto setting, which on a slippery surface like this can send torque to the front or rear where it's required. Now the big talking point, we averaged just under 11 liters per 100 during our time with this vehicle, and I've already had a few letters and phone calls asking how we managed that. I will say that as journalists, we mandated to drive within our means. We try not to be late too often so that we can get a comparable fuel figure. The worst figure we got was 13.7 liters per 100, and that was while towing. Having said that, I can see if you've got a heavy foot, or depending on your circumstances, I can see that figure easily settling around the 12 liters per 100 kilometers. You shouldn't really be averaging more than that. Then I would suggest you need to change your driving style, or perhaps get more mileage on the odometer so that the drivetrains run in. But for the time being, a figure of just under 11 liters per 100, we think it's acceptable and we think it's achievable. As a flagship product, the Everest Platinum is really impressive. It looks imposing, it's got the drivetrain to match, it's got a lot of standard specification, it's really comfortable to own. At 1.2 million Rand, I can see why it's positioned above a Fortuner. As luck would have it, there is a brand new Toyota Prado about to arrive, so we'll see how the Platinum matches up against that. I will say that I think with 21-inch wheels and a lot of chrome, I think the owner of a Prado is probably going to take his car a little bit further off-road than Everest Platinum will be. But yeah, kudos. I think the Everest is looking good, driving nicely, a lovely product.